Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 211, Infighting. As expected of Fyro Tan. My heart is beating so fast my chest will split open, Motoyasu. Even though Motoyasu was kicked, he's showing an expression of ecstasy as he gets up. How long will this headache continue? And from the sound, it didn't seem like Fyro held back at all with that kick. It was a serious kick, and she's also receiving a bonus from the Lust Spear. My Z8 aura should also still be in effect. Yet he withstood that. The past Motoyasu would have been split in half. Even the Curse series shouldn't increase his stats to this extent. I don't know why, but he's still doing just fine. Motoyasu dash, Naofumi. What is it, father? Motoyasu. TL, Motoyasu is randomly switching between hiragana and katakana here. Never mind. Have you been trying out other reinforcement methods? Naofumi. Yes, Fyro Tan's father's words are absolute. Motoyasu. I don't need your imitation. So this idiot finally began using the strengthening methods I passed to Shadow. The result. The current Motoyasu is probably stronger than me. My wrath hasn't been enhanced much, and it's only at level 3. Motoyasu is at 4. His weapon's definitely stronger. If I make an enemy of him, will I lose? What should I do in this situation? Fyro is putting up an amazing fight. And he's counteracting with the boost of his curse skills. Isn't this bad? Motoyasu probably won't fight Fyro seriously. But Fyro is coming at him with all of her might. Right now Motoyasu hasn't taken too much damage, but if Fyro continues like this things may get ugly. After that, Fyro will, without a doubt, come after me. If Motoyasu fights to the death, we may have a chance, but we've been told that killing heroes is bad. If possible, I wasn't to avoid that. Ha. Ha, Fyro. Fyro takes an offensive stance. This stance is. Magic power begins swirling around her center of gravity. The current me can see it. I think this is the stance to recover mana. But in this situation, it probably isn't replenishment, but amplification. Reach Fyro Tan. My feelings. Motoyasu. Motoyasu sees this as an opportunity to attack. But Fyro's magic replenishment finishes much faster than I expected. Hi quick. Fyro. There's a flash. A white afterimage passes through Motoyasu's body. The sight of a white ribbon continuously piercing through Motoyasu's body is burned into my eyes. Gufu, Motoyasu. Motoyasu. Could he be done already? Amazing. Fyro Tan. Motoyasu. Ah. He got up. That's good. The meat shield protecting me is still alive. Should we be doing anything? Atlas. You want to go into that battlefield? It'll be dangerous even for me, you know. Naofumi. Right, Atlas. But should we really just stay on the sidelines? I should probably look for a way to escape. Rishia, try to run. Naofumi. I order Rishia to try running alone. Phew. Rishia. Naofumi. Melty. Now. Quickly. Naofumi. Yes, Naofumi-sama is saying it, so Rishia-san, please run. Atlas. Why yes. Rishia. Upon Atlas's recommendation, Rishia begins running away. But, she soon returns. Phew. Why am I back here? Rishia. As I thought. We're in something like a special loop. It seems we'll be unable to escape for a while. Motoyasu and Fyro are still fighting. I'm grasping for the means to do something, but I can't think of anything. I just hope that the two forces will collapse simultaneously. But the situation is heading in a negative direction. Philo Reals. Motoyasu's 3 subordinate Philo Reals begin attacking Fyro. Why is everyone dash? Motoyasu. Motoyasu stands in front to protect Fyro. But the Philo Reals continue their assault, one with a kick, another with magic, and the last one with a battle axe. The one who kicked was red, the one who cast was blue and the one rushing with an axe on their Shoulder is green. All of them have strange looks in their eyes. Hate. The one who monopolizes Mokun's love, while seducing another man. I hate you. Philo. Real. Mokun is ours, Philo Real. Yeah. I won't approve of that person. Philo Real. Stop. Everyone. Motoyasu. I want to be the one to eat Mokun, Mokun. And that bitch is in the way. Philo Reals. To protect Phiro. Motoyasu begins fighting the three. Though not as fast as Phiro, they are still quite fast. Atlas. Naofumi. Yes, something black is wrapped around those three. It's more potent than with Phiro-chan. Atlas. Ah, I see. Naofumi. From what I see, they have yet to class up. The fact that they are able to hold off Motoyasu must be due to his own support. I mean, they're clearly being affected by his curse series. Lust and envy. Like Phiro, lust is putting them in heat, and envy is making them attack Phiro. With those three on the offense, Motoyasu has no choice but to defend her. But they're his precious daughters. I don't think he can hurt them. Motoyasu is protecting Phiro. Phiro is approaching me with a dangerous aura. The three Philo Reals are trying to kill her. It may be my imagination, but originally, Motoyasu was the enemy, Phiro was an ally, and the Philo Reals were Motoyasu's subordinates, and by transitive property, were enemies. In reality, Motoyasu is now an ally, Phiro is an enemy, and the three are a third power? I'm starting to have a hard time differentiating friend and foe. And then, Master. Finally the nuisance is gone, Phiro. With her back to Motoyasu, Phiro begins walking towards me, step by step. I've had a long time to think, so I have a few plans to test out. Among them should be one that should be able to handle this situation. Idea 1, activate the Wrath Shield and turn everything to ash. Con, the Wrath Shield hasn't been strengthened, so the firepower may be lacking. It will be difficult to beat Phiro with it. Even including Iron Maiden and Bluetopfer. I can't even use the latter. Even if I get the chance, the chances of it hitting Phiro are low. And if it did hit, Phiro would die. Idea 2, use Idea 1 to take out Motoyasu. Con, I don't have enough information on the current Motoyasu to take him on with certainty. I also don't know the exact effects of his skills. Idea 3, talk to and convince Motoyasu. Con, there's no precedent showing he can even be reasoned with. To get him to agree, I may have to have Phiro talk to him. But with Phiro like this, I can't really do that. Idea 4, talk to and convince Phiro. Con, she's not in a state where words will reach her. Convincing her seems impossible. I don't think she'll agree to anything I ask of her. Idea 5, cast support on Motoyasu's followers and have them take care of everything. Con, Phiro will get killed. I want to avoid that. This is no good. Even taking an uncertain gamble is better than these options. I wondered about the power of a Wrath Shield, Reinforced Shield Prison and E-Float Shield. My personal defense is very high, but I wasn't sure about external attachments. And so I experimented with infusing these items with magic. But, in order to make them succeed, Master, Phiro, I'm going to be defiled. That is, at least in human form. Naofumi. What the hell am I saying? But being violated by a little girl has to be better than being violated by a giant bird. No, Phiro. Ku. That's a nostalgic line from Phiro. When we first taught her to speak, Phiro repeated that word over and over. So I'm going to be defiled by a giant bird. I would rather die. Motoyasu may be delighted with this, but this is not my fetish. I have to restrain Phiro no matter what. Shield, Naofumi. I feel the flow of energy all around my body. My desperation, my desire to succeed in this no matter what, makes my mind move faster. I begin to understand this power. This is not magic. Is it the chi that Atlas senses? No, this power surfaced when I was about to activate Shield Prison. This is probably the phenomenon known as SP. PRI, Neofumi. I feel the power flowing towards my designated target. I see. Is that the point where I have to send my magic? I get the feeling that I can do it. But I don't have time. Before I cast it, I cut it off. Neofumi. The power flowing out returns to my body. But there is something that surprises me even more. When I was about to release it, Fyro jumped away from the point that I targeted. Did her instincts tell her to avoid it? So even if I successfully infuse it with magic, Fyro will avoid it. I'm doing this without any practice. And it requires a lot of concentration to infuse the magic. And now I find that it probably won't even hit her. I don't have any more options. I could try using this power to strengthen the meteor shield, but it's still cooling down. But if I give up here, my purity, perhaps I should shift my target to Motoyasu. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 212, Love Hunter. Kunu. Neo. Angels. Stop. Motoyasu. Yeah, looks like those followers are attacking Motoyasu to seal him. It'd be good if Motoyasu were sealed, but can these three do it? Two of them can hold him down, but there's still Fyro. It's definitely my loss if this fails. Not to mention Motoyasu is concentrating on the fight and moving around. It's hard to target him. It'd probably be best to take a chance against Motoyasu, but I'm not confident I can add magic power. Well, from out of range. I think it's something like stretching just the added magic power, but without practice, I probably won't be able to do it even if it can be done. Master, want to eat, Fyro? You're still saying that? Fyro-chan. Melty. Melty went protectively in front me and called out. It's dangerous, so step back. Neofumi. No. I am Fyro-chan's friend. I can't abandon Fyro-chan who's like this. Melty. I'm doubting if this fellow is really Witch's little sister. The resolve to risk your own life for friendship. Heh, if Melty's life is in danger, I'll probably have to protect them too. If they have chosen to eliminate their friend Fyro when she gets in the way, then I'll have to defend Melty and Rishia while directing attacks. Meru-chan. Fyro. Oh? Fyro turned her face to Melty's call. Good, keep that up. That's right. Fyro-chan. Neofumi does not wish for relations with you as you are, so don't be manipulated by that guy's power. Return to normal. Melty. Goo, you, Fyro. Having heard what Melty said, Fyro unsteadily approached her while trembling. Fyro-chan, Melty. Melty reached out her hand to brush Fyro's chest. I stay in the background tempering magic power and readying SP for the worst case scenario. Now, Fyro-chan. Turn back to normal, Melty. Fyro. Did the persuasion work? Fyro was quietly lowering her head to Melty. Melty was also smiling while brushing Fyro's head. Fyro wants to eat Melchan too, Fyro. Melty. Fyro firmly gripped Melty's shoulder. Ah, hey. Melty. Then she reached towards Melty's lower clothes. It's a bit evil, but it'd be a waste to let this chance go. Apologies, Melty. I'll definitely pay this debt afterwards. Now. Shield prison. Neofumi. What are you saying? Melty. Both Melty and Fyro were locked in the prison made by my shield. It's okay. Fyro's conscience should recognize Melty as something important, like with me. Like how she says she wants to eat me, it does not look like she intends to make food out of Melty, I think. Neofumi, way. Melty. The prison was completed as Melty was being attacked by Fyro. Goo, I let out all the magic power I was holding. With this, Fyro should be contained for a little while. Phui, the princess. Rishia. We've received Melty's noble sacrifice. It's fine. Surely, Neofumi. The worst case, let's not think about it. Let's just hope Melty is also a target of the lust-controlled Fyro. It would have been dangerous if she was controlled by gluttony. Atla, how is it? Neofumi. Yes. I felt the enclosure cast by Naofumi-sama block the ominous power, Atla. Is that so? Naofumi. That's good. In other words, Fyro will return to normal while in the prison. Melty did a good job too. The prison made by Naofumi-sama is simply wonderful. There are still a few frayed spots but, the ominous power has been obstructed, Atla. Oh, Naofumi. It seems adding magic power to prison somehow gets rid of its openings. I've heard something. Good. Female Knight destroyed it easily, but next time won't be so. Training this is vital. Next is Motoyasu and the others. I didn't notice because I was focused on Fyro but, they're still quarreling. It's okay for me to help out. But, what to do? Nyohuhuhu. I'll protect Fyro-tan and father. Motoyasu. He says. Angels. Stop already. Motoyasu. Like that, they make a very annoying racket. Mo-kun is mine. No, Mo-kun belongs to me. That's wrong. Motoyasu-san is mine. We won't give you to that bitch. Ah really? Just do that forever. They're close those guys. They're all similar to Fyro, but there's no Ahog. The red one will mostly use its claws but will sometimes breath flames. Philorials can breath fire? There might be a magic variety. The blue one mostly uses magic but also plucks and throws its own feathers. An attack like feather shot. The green one is always in human form. It looks like a human growing feathers and uses magic while wielding an axe. You could also say it has the most demi-human-like fighting method. This fellow is energetic despite appearing so docile. How should I put it? All their fighting styles differ from Fyro's. Is it the Philorial's individuality? I don't even want to know. And thus we're waiting for prison to disperse, but its duration has extended probably because I added magic power. It's lasted 3 minutes even though it usually only lasts 15 seconds. Long, Naofumi. It sure is long, Atla. Phew, Rishia. I don't even want to imagine what is going on inside. I wonder what will be awaiting us when this prison disappears. It's a kind of cat box. Was it Schrodinger's cat? I guess it's different. What will be going on with Fyro and Melty once this prison disappears? There are many possibilities. Fyro might have come to her senses just as I imprisoned her. Conversely, it might done something terrible to Fyro. The possibilities are endless. Melty may have successfully persuaded Fyro. Then when 5 minutes passed, softly, the prison disappeared. Phew, Fyro. Fyro was sitting there with ecstasy visible on her face. She looks like she's feeling good with her feathers ruffled. Where is Melty? I pray she has not been eaten by Fyro. If I think about it, she's the princess so I'll have no choice but to flee the country if that happened. I shouldn't distrust the friendship between Fyro and Melty. Oh. Naofumi. Melty is also alive. Near Fyro, she's lying down with the defeated pose of a fellow known for their pointless struggling. Her clothes have been removed and scattered about so I try not to look for the princess dignity. Melty-sama. Rishia. Rishia worriedly rushed over to Melty. Rishia turned Melty's face up to check for life, and a trickle of tears spilled out of Melty's half-laughing eyes. I feel like I've seen this scene somewhere. Like a light Yuri manga with 2 girls I think. Melty, I'm really sorry. I'll definitely compensate for this after, sorry, Naofumi. I reflexively said those words afterwards. To think a conclusion of this extent was waiting, though I did imagine the possibility. How should I put it? It was only a moment but, there may have been a better way. It's okay to begrudge my powerlessness. I'm really sorry. The cat in the box was violated. What happened inside, only the cat knows. Well, I'll know if the person herself talks though. Melty probably won't say. Then Rishia picked up the clothes of the rolled up Melty. Are you okay? Rishia. I faced something terrible, Melty. Let's do it again, Fyro. No. Melty. The calmed Fyro leaned her head on Melty. How's your condition? Naofumi. Somehow refreshed, Fyro. Of course, since you rampaged that much, Naofumi. Naofumi. I'll definitely kill you after this, so prepare yourself. Melty. I do feel apologetic. I'll accept a suitable punishment. But, I just believed in the friendship between you and Fyro, Naofumi. I won't say anything since your relationship has gotten to that point. It seems Fyro also really loves Melty, so there probably isn't anyone who can separate them. I won't be tricked even if you try to deceive me with skillful words. I absolutely will not forgive you. Melty. Well, bear with everything being the fault of me and your older sister, Naofumi. Mookie dash. Melty. Melchan. Why are you angry? Fyro. You see. Fyro-chan. Melty. Are you angry we kissed? But you said it was okay when we did it earlier, Fyro. What did you say? These guys, they willingly developed quite an abnormal relationship when I wasn't looking. Even I am not boorish. Let's watch over them from a distance from here on. Also called by the name of Fade Out. You see. It's not about that, Melty. Fyro's first time was with Master, so it's okay, Fyro. What did you say? When was I attacked? No, impossible. I'd probably notice even if I was attacked while asleep. She's saying whatever random thing she wants. Fyro-chan. My first kiss was taken by Fyro-chan quite long ago, Melty. But Melchan was wondering what a kiss is like, Fyro. Second and third bases to Fyro-chan, I absolutely can't tell mother, Melty. Melty talked to Fyro with a flushed face. I thought it was suspicious, but it's because you went that far. On your own, huh? Good for you, Fyro, your relationship with Melty has gone beyond close friends. So don't target me with your sexual urges. Resolve it with Melty. Fyro's first time kiss? Me? I do remember being licked with all her strength, but, is it that? Ugh, if that counted then even I have been kissed, huh? Melty, Naofumi. What? Melty. Let's not count, Fyro. It'll be the rule for you and I, Naofumi. Don't mess around. Melty. I'm not really messing around, Naofumi. I don't want it. It'll become a matter of fact if Melty doesn't mutually agree to not mind it. That's unnecessary. Melty. Well? What will it be? Naofumi. Fine. Melty. Good. Then let's move the next course of action, Naofumi. Famu, looking carefully, the barrier on Fyro has dispersed, we'll be able to run away at this rate. Motoyasu's side is still fighting. It's a miracle no sparks have come our direction. What should be done? It seems like they'd fight forever if left alone. It won't be funny if I use a skill poorly again. Fyro, Naofumi. Yes. Fyro. I order Fyro, whose glaze has gotten better. Face Motoyasu and say as I say, Naofumi. No dash. Fyro. Honestly, she's still defiant even if her reason is back. If you don't, you'll be manipulated by Motoyasu again. I won't help you this time for sure. Who knows what Motoyasu will do when you don't realize, Naofumi. No dash. Master. What should I do? Fyro. Say exactly as I do, Naofumi. What are you intending for her to say, Melty? The unkempt Melty purified her body with magic, changed her clothes and asked. Actually, Naofumi. Let's stop. Motoyasu. Motoyasu continues trying to persuade his followers. You are the cause. It seems your followers love you, so they feel jealousy towards Fyro. You probably won't listen to what I say, so I'll have the now. Calm Fyro, settle this. Dash. Listen, spear person dash. Fyro. Motoyasu turned towards Fyro's voice. He put on a happy looking face that made me want to punch. him. Yes. What is it, Phiro-tan? Motoyasu. Let's see. Phiro likes platonic people. I'm not considering such things until the world is truly peaceful dash. Besides that, what was it? Sincere and kind to everyone, not be sneaky, and properly follows conditions set when gambling. Also, don't just promise in appearance, reliably keep them dash, Phiro. I have Phiro say complaints toward Motoyasu. It'd be good if he'd improve with this. Also, things about Phiro's tastes are lies. A fellow who was attacking Melty until just earlier has no persuasive power. Even this situation may be resolved immediately. You could call it the sage time in Phiro talking. But Phiro, you've left out one thing. Lastly, properly listen when people are speaking dash. Especially listen to master's orders no matter what. Also, don't follow Phiro around until the world has truly become peaceful. Phiro. I did not tell her to say that last part. She has wisdom at a strange place. Is that so? Phiro-tan. Motoyasu. Good, the negotiations with Motoyasu are successful. Phiro, next is just to have him change his spear. And so dash, Phiro. Phiro's eyes swam and looked toward me. She's forgotten what I told her. This bird brain. That's right, I'll hate you if you don't change that spear to another one. That spear is especially no good dash, Phiro. Such a thing. Understood. Motoyasu. Will absolutely not transform to this spear. Motoyasu. Motoyasu quickly changed to a different spear according to Phiro's words. What an honest guy, way too readily. Or rather, this guy changed it so simply. Motoyasu's followers fell to the ground like they ran out of batteries the moment he changed his spear. Now it's gotten quiet. Well then, Naofumi. I gave Phiro her next message. Phiro likes heroes who fight for the sake of the world, so face your sins and surrender to the Queen Phiro. Understood. Motoyasu. He should have already returned to normal, but Motoyasu is somehow strange. Motoyasu Naofumi. What is it, father-in-law? Motoyasu. What does this fellow look like to you? Naofumi. Again, I point at Melty. A blue piglet, Motoyasu. He hasn't returned But the spear is a normal one. Is it the influence of the curse series? Like when my sense of taste was obstructed, are his sight and hearing obstructed? Though if he's been saved by Phiro, then it'd be fine if he recovered. Well, that's that. Father-in-law, Motoyasu vow from here on to contribute for the sake of world peace, and also to become a love hunter to capture Phiro-tan's heart, Motoyasu. He's saying nonsensical things again. For now, go to the castle. And never come back, Naofumi. Understood. Come, let's go. My angels. Portal spear. Motoyasu. Motoyasu's group disappeared instantly. Now it'll become quiet. We're returning to. I'm worn out, Naofumi. Oh yes, Naofumi, I absolutely won't forgive you, Melty. I know, Naofumi. Melty sure is obstinate too. Well, I guess it can't be helped. I do think just an apology is not enough. But doing that was my only option at that time. I'd come running without fail if Melty was truly in trouble, so forgive me. With this, it's one matter settled. Right? Naofumi-sama's ability was wonderful, Atla. Atla said something random. Let's return now. Phiro's estrus will probably be suppressed for recompensation. Phiro's carriage Phiro. You did it yourself, Naofumi. Carriage Phiro. Ha. I'll buy another one afterwards, so cheer up, Naofumi. Yeah, why? Phiro. Phew, I don't want to ride a carriage for a while, Rishia. What a coincidence. Me neither, Naofumi. Well, with that, we returned to the village in the same day. I think today is the most worn out I've felt since I came to this world. Somehow the sunlight is dazzling. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero chapter 213, Nap. After returning to the village, I took a light nap. Because of Fyro's misconduct, I have forbid her from coming into my bed. In order to keep up the Atlas countermeasures, I invited Melty over, but why do I have to sleep with Naofumi? Melty. Originally, it was Fyro's duty, but as she caused quite an uproar, she has been banished as a punishment. Naofumi. I asked Rat for the reason for her suddenly going to heat. She said it may be because I slept next to her so much. Something about being attached to me, or something. I have no idea what she's trying to say. I have no intentions of setting up house in this world. Building a harem in another world. I threw away such dreams long ago. And so her successor is you, Melty. I thought I would leave her duties to you. Despite what I say. You're pretty strong. You should be able to drive Atlas out. Naofumi. I don't want to. Melty. Melty's face has dyed a deep shade of red. But of course. I did sacrifice her to halt Fyro's movement. I see. You hate it that much. Then there's no helping it. Naofumi. Wait. Melty. I was in the wrong. Naofumi. Yeah, Melty. What? Melty is making a strange expression as she hesitantly lowers her extended hand before leaving. Now then, I have to find another tribute. Besides Melty, is there someone else in this village who can fight on par with Atlas? Hiro-sama, I've come to deliver your requested equipment. Emiya. At that moment, Emiya came with the peddling clothing I ordered. Keel and the others have good faces, so I thought of making them wear nostalgic maid outfits, or some clothes that have niche audiences when they go out peddling. The reception was quite good, and earnings increased. Emiya. Emiya hands the clothing over as she stifles a yawn. Did she stay up all night making these? Famu. If she's sleepy, then her timing is good. My Atlas troubles are common knowledge in the village. She should understand. I'm worried whether or not she will be able to drive Atlas out, but there's no one else here, so there's no choice. Now then, Emiya. Naofumi. What could it be? Emiya. Won't you sleep with me? Naofumi. Emiya. After pausing for a few seconds, Emiya lets out a loud voice, and falls over. Oi, what are you so surprised about? Naofumi. My heart isn't ready, Emiya. What do you mean? It's just sleeping. Naofumi. And I'm dirty, Emiya. What is she saying? I stare at Emiya. I don't get the dirty feeling I got from Raphtalia when I bought her. Just from looking her, I see she has put a bit of attention into personal hygiene. The Raphtalia from back then hadn't bathed in weeks. Though I don't know why my mind is comparing them. Don't mind it. Naofumi. I can't. Emiya. I'm also sleepy, so hurry and come to the bed. Naofumi. Yes. Emiya. Emiya is shaking. Am I really that scary? But if she's learned to remain vigilant, I guess that's a good thing. Why is she loosening her clothing? A half-naked Emiya shakes nervously as she approaches me. Why is she half-naked? I don't know what her customs are, but does she sleep half-naked? Timidly, she lies down on my bed. I put the covers over her and close my eyes, but Emiya seems to be making pain sounds as she continues shivering. As a mole demi-human, are human beds no good for her? What's wrong? Calm down. You won't be able to sleep like that. Naofumi. Maybe because I've been sleeping with Fyro a lot, having something next to me when I sleep calms me down. I no longer toss and turn from my trauma like before. I guess sleeping with Fyro has been a good rehabilitation. Oh? Emiya's body temperature is quite high. I lightly pat her head. And Emiya twitches violently. Hi? As I thought. It's impossible for me. Sorry. Emiya. Emiya says as she jumps up and runs out of the room. Oi. What happened to her? Oh why? Naofumi. Did she think I would try to make a move on her? No, I don't think she's someone who would make that big of a misunderstanding. The fact that Fyro sleeps with me as an Atlas countermeasure should be common knowledge here. As I chase after Emiya, I find her discussing something with Keel. As soon as she sees me, she runs away again at an alarming speed. Should I invite Keel instead? Nyakan. What are you doing? Don't you have no interest in women? Keel. Keel acts rebelliously like she always does, but as soon as I get on the bed, she quiets down. You. Nyakan. What do you plan on doing? Keel. I pat dog form Keel as I lie down. Maybe because I'm used to stroking Fyro's feathers. Perhaps that's what lets me sleep easily with others. In puppy mode, all of Keel's body is covered in fur. It's similar and quite soothing. Though Emiya would have been fine as well. Oh, if Atlas tries to come in, drive her out. Then I'll be sleeping. Naofumi. Ah, Nyakan. What do you mean by that? Keel. You're being noisy. Quiet down. Naofumi. I got it Nii-chan. Keel. Following my orders, Keel goes quiet, as she lies in the bed waiting for me to fall asleep. Nyakan. Don't cause so many misunderstandings, and don't scare Emiya-chan so much, Keel. Huh? What are you talking about? Naofumi. Nyakan, is it true that you're doing it with Atlas-chan and Fyro-chan? Keel. I don't know what you're misunderstanding, but there's no way that's true. Everyone should know. Right? Naofumi. First I'm hearing of it, Nyakan. Keel. Is that so? I though Sadana passed on the information. Naofumi. There's no way Sadana Nachan would tell the truth about situations like this. She said that you would be aiming for me next. Keel. What is that whale telling these kids? There's no way I would do such things. I did something bad to Emiya. I'll have to apologize later. Naofumi. I don't think you have to worry about it. Emiya-chan seemed happy. Keel. With question marks floating above my head, I went to sleep. By the way, Atlas did indeed come, and Keel drove her off with her barking. Amazing. Keel is acting like a guard dog. My evaluation of her has risen ever so slightly. By the way, because of her barking, I couldn't sleep well. Anyways, after I woke up from my nap, it was the afternoon. After distributing lunch to the slaves, I teleported to the castle. Since Motoyasu surrendered, I have to tell the queen. If Fyro continues manipulating him, he'll probably help work towards world peace. I also have to stop by the old man's place to place in an order for a carriage. When I appeared in the castle, Trash was in front of me. Naofumi. Trash. His clothes are quite normal today. After silence ruled the area for a while, Trash turned and left. After seeing Atlas, he's gone quiet. The queen always comes here to greet me, so this time I go to her office. If it isn't Iwadani-sama. How are you doing? Queen. You know why I'm here, right? Naofumi. Yes, it's about the hero of the spear, right? Queen. Yeah. Did he come here? Naofumi. Early in the morning, he was standing in front of the castle, turning himself in. I went to see him. After hearing the report, but he was a little. He wouldn't listen to me, and I had to speak to him. Through a male interpreter. Queen. The queen uses a fan to cover her mouth as she glares at me. I can understand her feelings. Recently, I've been starting to doubt whether or not his mind even has the capacity to accept logic. He follows Fyro's words without question, but everything else is. This is all your daughter's fault. Naofumi. I'm aware. But this change was mostly brought about by Iwadani-sama's pet bird, correct? Queen. I can't deny it, but when you say it like that. So? What are you going to do with Motoyasu's sentencing? Naofumi. As you've probably assumed, we're not going to press further punishment as long as he participates in the wave. though the individual has also honestly admitted to being a bandit in the mountains. Queen. The Queen's avoiding eye contact. It seems evident that she's hiding something. Or perhaps she's signaling for me to deduce it myself. She probably had a hard time dealing with Motoyasu. And? What did he do? Naofumi. Ah, did you understand what I meant? Queen. You avoided eye contact to make me understand, right? Naofumi. I'm thankful for Iwadani-sama's deductive ability, Queen. Just get on with it. Naofumi. Then let me report. The individual in question demanded that he be punished, but we kept trying to tell him that we had no intention of doing so. He refused to pull back, so we told him attaining world peace was to be his punishment. Queen. That's a bit much, I told the Queen. Well, it's not like he's repenting anything. He probably just wants to show Fyro that he's starting over. For her sake. After that, how should I say this? Up until that point, things proceeded relatively smoothly, but after that, the hero of the spear began to take increasingly troublesome action regarding the Philo Reals. Within the castle, Queen. Ha. Naofumi. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 214, The Revolutionary Faction. Philo Reals again, Motoyasu really makes trouble wherever he goes. Naofumi. Most of which relate to Philo Reals. He's a troublesome man to no end. He must have been ecstatic when he saw the castle's Philo Real stable. Just how broken does he have to get to satisfy himself? There was no helping it, so we gave him some Philo Real eggs, and gave him a mission. Queen. The mission was just a front to drive him off, right? Naofumi. Correct. Queen. I've been thinking it for a while, but this country's queen is surprisingly honest. Even so. That man wants even more Philo Reals? Just how severe is his ailment? When he came to the castle, he was already followed by 10 Philo Real queens, Queen. What? 10? Wasn't it 3? Now that I think about it, he kept referring to them as his angels, and he never said he only had 3. Is that idiot building up a Philo Real army? And the fact that he wants more Philo Reals on top of that, Queen. Well, he is a pervert. Though Fyro didn't notice it, before he warped away, Motoyasu collected all of Fyro's dropped feathers. I don't want to know what he plans on using them for. My daughter, Melty, also has a peculiar passion for Philo Reals, but the hero of the spear has one that far surpasses hers. Queen. Melty? She's past the friend line with Fyro. Her love for Philo Reals can be compared to Motoyasu. No, she loses out to him. She couldn't take all of Fyro's overflowing love. In a sexual way. So Motoyasu is no longer here. Naofumi. Yes. He said he was heading to Iwadani-sama's land. Queen. Don't pass your problems on to me. Naofumi. Motoyasu is coming to my place. This is no joke. No matter what, I don't want to have to deal with that idiot. Now that I think about it, it's suspicious that he never came there to see Fyro before. My stomach hurts. After he left, I received another report of him purchasing Philo Real eggs from a monster dealer. Queen. He bought more after getting them at the castle? How many does he need, that man? This is already a disease. He had 10 from the start already. Okay, I understand what happened to Motoyasu. Is there anything else that happened? Naofumi. The hero of the bow has still yet to be sighted. Also, the anti-demi-human faction of this country has increased its activity. Queen. Ah, you talked about that before. What do you mean by increasing in activity? Naofumi. It sees, from circumstantial evidence, and my intuition, mind you, that they're building up forces for a rebellion. Queen. A revolution, is it? In the human supremacist Melromark, seeing the Queen give preferential treatment to demi-humans is leading to rebellion. Punishing trash let us ease some tensions, but the limit to that is approaching. We have yet to find definite evidence, but there have been some signs of suspicious activity. Queen. But there's no definitive proof. Neofumi. The amount of nobles refusing to give quests to demi-human adventurers is increasing. Queen. Can you do anything about it? Neofumi. If I take any drastic measures, the situation may explode. Queen. So it's a dangerous situation. This country's contamination really runs deep. But Iwadani-sama's actions are gradually improving the public view of demi-humans. There is little signs of revolutionary action among the general populace. Queen. Neofumi. The sight of your demi-humans traveling the country while peddling has left behind a good image. People are forgetting past prejudices, and learning that demi-humans and humans can cooperate to overcome the wave. Queen. I see. Neofumi. For my peddling to have such an unforeseen effect. Well, those slaves are uselessly motivated. I guess it's not weird for them to be able to change some opinions. Oh yeah. I thought it was about time to expand the scope of my enterprise. Neofumi. Outside of my country? The documents you have should be good enough for that, Queen. The accessory merchant may have realized that. He may be laughing at me. He's been asking me to stock some of his wares in my peddling carriage. I probably should do so in order to ensure a steady stream of income into the village when I'm gone. My current goal is to make a peaceful village for Raphtalia that will be able to function without me. Of course, I'm also building up forces to counter the wave. I see. Now that I think about it, my village bears the brunt of the political struggle of this country. I may be seen as an enemy by the various groups here. I need to proceed with caution. I wonder if I should report that as well. Queen. Was there something else? Neofumi. Yes. This country's penitentiary area was destroyed during the spirit turtle attack. We have confirmed the deaths of most of the prisoners, but, Queen. But, Neofumi. There's still a chance that some escaped. Queen. I see, Neofumi. So some prisoners may have escaped. It's quite an ominous conversation. My intuition tells me that they may be involved in this rebellion. Also, another force was driven out. By Iwadani-sama's work as well. Queen. The Three Heroes Church is still laying low. This may be a big problem. So they're still within this country. I guess it's a good thing nothing's happened yet. A lot of unreasonable things have been happening to me recently. It feels good to get prior notice for once. I'll leave information gathering to you. Neofumi. I understand. Queen. Do you not carve slave seals into your prisoners? Neofumi. We do, but the people who held the slave ownership rights were the guards that died in the attack. Queen. Ah, I see. The people with the authority to send punishment are dead. This is quite troublesome. I think you should leave this situation to be solved by the heroes that caused it. Neofumi. Ren seems to be earnestly repenting, so he'll probably accept the task. It seems that he's slowly being accepted into the village. For what reason? Queen. You'll be able to drive out the revolutionaries all at once without the country at fault. Neofumi. Understood. Honestly, I don't think this is a situation where I should turn to the heroes. This situation is a result of my incompetence. Queen. I know that isn't your true opinion. Neofumi. I think it's a good idea. Honestly, it seems like a pain, and I don't want to get involved. But if I don't get involved, it would be the same as abandoning my village. That would be extremely foolish. I thank you for your cooperation. Queen. Omit your thanks. Neofumi. Iwadani-sama, please remain vigilant. This issue is deeply connected to your land. Queen. I know. Neofumi. If the Three Heroes Church attacks, I should get the support of the other churches. Though they denounce them as imposters. And it's not like my villagers do nothing but eat. They're quite useful individuals. All of this is thanks to Iwadani-sama's benevolence. Queen. Let's leave it at that. Neofumi. She seems to be saying her genuine opinion. This makes it all the more suspicious. I don't trust her. Melty is much easier to handle. By the way, that was a compliment. Sometimes, I wonder whether she was really born of the same parents as that witch. She prioritizes her friendship with Phiro over all else, and is a generally good person. She was raised well. She's also quite practical. If I were asked if I had common sense, I would say no. Quite a few of the people around me are lacking in that field. But I also have Raphtalia and Melty around me. Discounting the slaves, to which I am like a parent, Melty is one of my most trusted people. Though, she still might resent me for what I did to her the other day. Now that I think about it, the Queen hasn't asked me about Melty. What's done is done, so I was prepared for some punishment. As long as it doesn't come up, it should be fine. It may come up down the line, so I should think up some countermeasures. No, I think it will be easier to settle this now. From my experience, putting things off never leads to anything good. What should we do about Melty? Neofumi. Meaning. Queen. She dropped her formal tone. Was it too troublesome to keep up? It's related to Motoyasu's case, so I thought I would bring it up. Neofumi. About the Philo Reals? Shadow was following your party to some extent, but a barrier-like item was erected, so I don't know what happened after that. I only have the hero of the spear's testimony. I believe he called Melty that blue pig or something. Queen. Good. She doesn't know anything about it. I don't think Melty wants to spread the info. Perhaps I can hide it. Yeah, Motoyasu's attack sent my Philo Real out of control, and Melty sacrificed her body to get it under control. If Melty wasn't there, we would have been in trouble. Please praise her later. Neofumi. I'm not lying. Melty probably won't tell the whole truth, and if her parent praises her she won't be able to. If I silence Rishia, then the matter will be confined to oblivion. I see. Melty does love Philo Reals. Queen. The Queen seems satisfied with the explanation as she nods. But still. Even when a calamity is hitting the world, the people prepare for a rebellion. Just how rotten can this world be? Read The Rising of the Shield Hero chapter 215, Barbarian Armor +2. After I finished talking with the Queen, I made an appearance at the weapon shop. Oh. Well, isn't it, laddie? It's been a while. Oyoji. So it has. I haven't seen you guys much because of your thriving business. Neofumi. I was finally able to meet the old man from the weapon shop. Emiya's uncle was also there as a shop assistant, lining up weapons in the store. There's a better array of products than before. They looked busy, and business seems good. How are you? Neofumi. We're pretty good. Just a little longer and it'll be finished. The shield for laddie, that is. Oyoji. I see. How much should I pay? Neofumi. You let me work this guy freely, so 10 gold for the material fees is fine. Oyoji. The old man from the weapon shop said generously, pointing at Emiya's uncle. It's a masterpiece made with the materials from the spirit turtle. So it's likely that it's as fine as the products on auction in Zeltbur. Moreover, it's made by the old man, so it might fetch an even higher price. The problem is what to do with the shield after I've copied it. Because amongst the guys I have faith in with handling it, there are none who use shields. The average market price would be 50 gold, right? Emiya's uncle. Emiya's uncle replied, as if reading my thoughts. It's the shield version of the displayed spirit turtle sword that had been scheduled for auction in Zeltbur before. It's a product made by the old man, and its performance can be expected. The problem is its cost. Well, the current me can afford to pay 10 gold. Because I've earned that much from managing the land. Or rather, when spending money to provide for war power to fight the waves, preparing weapons and armor is the most important. It seems cheap, but if it was 50 gold then it would still cause some hesitation. Is it that much of a quality product? Neofumi. Yes. If there's no way to use it, then having the outlook of selling it is also part of a merchant. Emiya's uncle. The old man also nodded. But still, to part with the product that they worked hard to make for me is a bit regrettable. I want to have it on hand even if it ends up gathering dust. Well, I'll think about that when the time comes. How's the armor? Neofumi. It was a good core. With that, there will be no problems inserting it. With those thoughts, we made that first Oyoji. At the old man's instructions, Emiya's uncle brought the armor from the shop's interior. Its appearance was very similar to the previously equipped barbarian's armor. However, looking again at the fundamental materials, the metal parts were appended with turtle shell material. Also, a few of the dark-colored joints became colorful. This is Neofumi. We used metal yielded from the spirit turtle. There were a few problems with the weight, but we've already fixed that flaw. Mysteriously, it became lighter after we affixed the core. Oyoji. I see. Neofumi. I examined the barbarian's armor. Barbarian's armor +2. Defense up, shock resistance, large, fire resistance, extra large, lightning resistance, large. Absorption resistance, mid, HP recovery, weak, magic recovery, weak, SP recovery, weak. Magic increase, mid, Dragon Emperor's divine protection, magic defense production automatic. Repair function, Earth Pulse's divine protection, dragon attribute, dragon territory growing ability. There are even more endowments. A variety of things are increased in return for the loss of dark resistance. Was the fire resistance thanks to the core? There's also the dragon attribute. The dragon aspects probably correspond to Galeon's core being used. What's dragon territory? The growing ability was an effect I somehow came to expect. I should ask Galeon. How much is the fee? Neofumi. Laddie will make good use of it, so take it as commission for being the liaison for the materials. Oyoji. That's helpful. Neofumi. It's because I profited from that. To charge you money here, my pride won't allow it. Oyoji. The old man really did a lot for me. I've always considered him the second most trustworthy after Raphtalia. It's really disappointing that he won't come to my land though. Can I wear it immediately? Neofumi. Sure. Show us. Oyoji. I took the armor and went to the dressing room to change. For some reason, despite it feeling familiar, it feels brand new. Such a mysterious feeling. This. However, there's no great change in design. Just the coloring is different. Neofumi. The cotton-like texture is different. I understand that something good has been used. I've received a fine product. The sizing is also correct, it fits perfectly. How is it? Neofumi. Oh, when speaking of Laddie, it's that kind of image as expected. Oyoji. I find it hard to understand, but some growth is, in regards to Hiro-sama, there isn't any. Emiya's uncle. Emiya's uncle says ambiguously. Of course it's like that, the old man was pleased, but I also thought it was a fin de siècle small fry. At first. T/N, fin de siècle equals end of the century, http://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/fin_de_si%sin C3% A8 cli. However, I feel the illusion of being very powerful just by wearing this. Because as far as I'm concerned, this armor made with the old man's confidence is the most reliable armor. Raphtalia said she wanted to be my sword. And the old man granted me with this armor. In regards to armor, the production of this barbarian's armor is the best indeed. Thank you. Neofumi. It's been a while since I've heard Laddie's thanks. Oyoji. I just said it. Neofumi. By the way, where's the miss? She hasn't come at all. Oyoji, T/N, miss equals Raphtalia. She's still in training. Neofumi. Oyoji. That's right. Old man, can you see the flow of magic? Neofumi. What's that? Oyoji. I tried explaining to the old man about how adding magic when cooking or compounding improves the quality. I don't see it. But I do understand about adding magic. Oyoji. Is that so? Neofumi. Well, I probably don't do it as precisely as Laddie though. Will you try helping next time? Oyoji. I'll think about it. Neofumi. And also, it's no good if you don't listen carefully to the materials. Pushing is good but pulling is also Important. Oyoji. Adding magic is also important, but there must be a guide or something, right? Adding magic is fine when improving inferior products, but if the foundation is good then it shouldn't be put in. Or was it like the Dragon Pulse method? I feel like something flashed. I should try it next time. Now then, I don't want to overstay my welcome. Ah, that's right. Can I have you make me another carriage? Naofumi. What happened? Oyoji. Firo's reckless driving made the carriage do unreasonable things. Naofumi. What the heck did she do? Oyoji. A race on the mountain passes. She was competing on a mountain trail and jumped off a cliff. Naofumi. What kind of situation is that? Oyoji. As expected, the old man was also surprised. Emiya's uncle was the same as well. There won't be a next time, so I'd like to request something similar to before. Naofumi. I get it. I'll make the frame, so bring Miss Birdie along once. It's better if I improve it to match her. Right. Oyoji. Ah, then the next time we come. Naofumi. All right. Oyoji. I will also return to the village soon. Emiya's uncle. So in the end, you're coming. Naofumi. Temporarily. One way or another, it's better if we make equipment for everyone in the village. Right. Emiya's uncle. MN, that's true. Naofumi. Even now, they're still using second-hand weapons. If I'm irresponsible and don't replace them, then they'll get worn out. I'm doing maintenance on them for now, but it'll probably reach a limit. Emiya has been exhibiting such skills. I'm hoping Emiya's uncle also has a similar level of talent. I know who the hero of the Shield Sama really wanted to come though. Emiya's uncle. No, that's Naofumi. Yug. This is awkward. Certainly, I wanted the old man from the weapon shop to come. Usually I would curtly refuse, but that's in comparison with the old man. My apologies, but that's what I really think. Please don't worry about it. I don't have any intention to lose. Emiya's uncle. That's right, geez, you're not any less capable. I don't think I could have finished that shield without you. Oyoji. Because the hero of the shield has such expectations. I don't have any choice but to do it. Or, rather, I must do it. Emiya's uncle. If the old man says so, then his skills must be reliable. Then I'll be anticipating it. I'll be looking forward to it. Should I gather materials from somewhere? Naofumi. Yes. And then, I'll be grateful if you could make a blacksmith's workshop for me. Emiya's uncle. Understood. If you tell the neighboring town, there are some knowledgeable guys, so you can leave it to them. Naofumi. It's probably fine if I ask at the accessory shop. One way or another, making accessories require the refining of metals and such anyway. I know that such a workshop was built in the village. Therefore, he should be able to make one in the village. I'll haggle as much as I can. He also communicates with the slave merchant and is a masochist, so he'll be delighted if I haggle. Of course, I won't let him cut corners with his construction. Then until later, when the shield is complete. Naofumi. Ah, I'll see you then. Oyoji. And with that, I left the weapon shop behind. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 216, Joint Ownership. Well, Hero of the Shield, did something happen? Yes. Slave dealer. Last we met, I had the feeling you were avoiding eye contact. Does that ring any bells? Naofumi. I go over to the slave dealer's place, and ask as such with my arms crossed. I'm not saying anything was his fault, but this man is one of the many reasons Motoyasu caused me such trouble. Absolutely none. Yes. Slave dealer. Sigh, Naofumi. He's putting on a business smile. He's definitely faking it. I'm thinking of leaving my gluttonous Philo Real in your care for a while. Naofumi. That is, slave dealer. Of course, you'll be footing the bill. I won't let you refuse. Naofumi. I have some political power now, but also this person is earning a lot by selling me slaves. There's no way the slave dealer would needlessly strain our business relations. I understand. Yes. The fact of the matter is that I did indeed offer some philo reals to the hero of the spear. Slave dealer. So you admit it. Neofumi. He barged into the tent repeating the name of the hero of the shield's philo real, so I offered them to him as an experiment. Slave dealer. Ah, right. The slave dealer was trying to find out the conditions for a philo real becoming a queen. But I had my hands full with my glutton phiro, so I turned down his experiments. I got my next philo real much later, and I left his care to phiro so nothing happened. Could it be I'm also at fault? No. I just didn't participate in his research, and this isn't my responsibility. And the slave dealer was merely doing business. He sold his merchandise to the person looking for it. I wonder how long ago he sold them. The last time that I saw Motoyasu was when Keel and the others did their class up, I think. It was when I learned Portal Shield. Back then, the slave dealer wasn't there. Perhaps I missed him and he later encountered Motoyasu. I don't really need to dig too deep into this. Regarding that matter, there is something I would like to propose. Slave dealer. What is it? Neofumi. This morning, the hero of the spear paid a visit, and the contract ink with your blood is all gone. Slave dealer. What you say? Neofumi. Until this point, I never worried about its stock. It was something that naturally came with the slaves I bought. Slaves aren't free, and since testing the seal was easy, there wasn't a risk of fake ink. In this world, getting a slave without a seal is pretty pointless. So Motoyasu is in possession of the ink now. On the shelf where I kept the ink, I found several bags of gold, and a sheet with a signature, reminiscent of a spear and a philo real. Slave dealer. D-damn. When I had Phiro persuade him, I never had her tell him that crime was wrong. What Phiro told him was to be kind and honest. Because of that, he left money. But we never told him stealing was bad. I thought that was included in being honest, but I guess the term literally means simply being fair in one's actions. So Motoyasu raises his philo reals honestly, and leaves them under my providence. I don't know how he thinks, but in his mind, perhaps that is honesty. Damn. Neofumi. I hastily open up the monster management window. The amount of names I don't know has exponentially increased. That idiot. He used my ink to contract his philo reals. I've heard of joint ownership of slaves and monsters. This is probably slave dealer. I forgot to tell him not to take annoying action on his own. If I don't do anything about him, then philo real queens will continue to be mass-produced. He received some eggs from the queen, and got more from this merchant. I need to get back to the village quickly. The ownership rights can be annulled by you yourself, so there shouldn't be a problem. The hero of the spear said he was going to the hero of the shield's place. Slave dealer. The queen said that as well. What does he plan on doing there? Even taking an army of philo reals with him. This is serious. I need some drastic countermeasures. Got it. I'm going back to my village. CYA. Neofumi. What should I do about finding you slaves? Yes. Slave dealer. Please continue as before. Neofumi. I understand. Yes. Slave dealer. I care not for that at the moment. I run out of the tent and summon a portal. Ah, I forgot. The queen said it seemed like Motoyasu's followers had class-upped. I return to the village and quickly scan the surroundings. Good. Motoyasu isn't here yet. I need to prepare for when he gets here. Or else. Now that I think about it, the one who will be doing the work will be Motoyasu. I have no part in it. Perhaps he opted for joint ownership to get my status boosts. If he builds up forces, he may oppose me, but I don't think that Firaholic will do such a thing. No. If he takes action on his own, I'll be troubled, but as long as I get Phiro to tell him when he gets here, it should be fine. Hey, Neofumi. Do you know what's going on? Ren. Neofumi. Before I realized it, Ren was in front of me. What is it? Naofumi. I don't know. There seems to be something going on outside the village. I can't leave, though. Ran. Outside. Naofumi. Yeah. I can only see from afar, but... Isn't that Motoyasu? Ran. What? It suddenly feels like my blood temperature has dropped. Ren and female knight both stared towards the outskirts of the village, where we built the Fyro Real stable. The slaves seemed to be gathered there. I timidly approached the area. Ah, Nyakin, wow. Your clothes are amazing. Keel. Keel looks at me, and jumps back at the sight of my clothes. I don't think I've worn my barbarian armor since I first established the village. For me, this clothing is normal, though. Don't mind it. Naofumi. No. I can't. Nyakan, are you into that sort of clothing? Keel. I don't know whether I like or hate it, but its abilities are high, and it was made by someone who treats me well. Naofumi. Is that so? Keel. I'd like to move on from this topic already. What is happening in the Philo Real stable? Naofumi-sama. Atlas. I just got back. What's happening? Naofumi. I think it was right after Nyakan left. Or perhaps before that. It seems there were intruders in the stable. Keel. I see. Naofumi. We were deliberating how to drive them out, but because Nyakan wasn't here, we didn't want to take action yet. Keel. Yes, Sadana-san isn't here either, and when we sent someone to ask Melty-chan in the neighboring village, we got a report saying Fyro didn't want to come here no matter what. Atlas. The bad feeling in my chest begins to encompass more parts of my body. Motoyasu is definitely here. What should we do? Atlas. Let me go confirm the situation there. Naofumi. Perhaps I can talk to him. I carefully walk up to the Philo Real stable and put my hand on the large door. I can hear some noises coming from the inside. Fyro should only have one follower right now. I did plan on getting more in the future though. What is this? My blood goes cold again. Every single instinct in my body is telling me not to open this door. But putting this problem off won't solve anything. I muster up my courage and swing the door open. Wah. Naofumi. The inside of the building was pitch black. No, that's wrong. There are too many Philo Reals, and all outside light is blocked. Ah, the scent of Philo Reals. Sniff. Sniff. Motoyasu. Right before my eyes, Motoyasu was embracing a Philo Real queen, and taking in her scent. Surrounding him is a large flock of queens. I hear the sounds of feathers ruffling as all heads turn to face me. I'm surrounded by eyes. Who is it? Philo Reals. Ah, I think he was the master Motokun was talking about. Philo Real. Right. His eyes look mean, but he somehow looks nice. Philo Real. Yeah. That must be it. Philo Real. I get you, man. Somehow looking at him makes me feel motivated. Philo Real. Right, right. The feeling he gives of is different than Motopai. Philo Real. Goosebumps break out all over my body. Master. Let's play. Philo Reals. Bang. I immediately slam the door and run. A few seconds later the door opens once more. I look back and am confronted with the terrifying sight of a flock of Philo Reals gaining on me. Motoyasu Yuua. Get out. Naofumi. My heartless cry echoes through the village. By the way, my salvation came in the form of Fyro, who mustered up her courage and came to check the situation out. I now owe her one. I won't say what sort of things happened to me until she came to my aid. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 217, The Hero of the Shield's Capture Walkthrough. Now then, it's been a few days since Motoyasu has separated from the village and made his own Philo Real farm. He built a fort with the stable at the center. The shock from that incident made me unable to approach it for a while. I was attacked by an army of Fyros straight out of my darkest nightmares. But when I asked him if I could borrow a Philo Real, Motoyasu obediently lent one. Using a relatively cheap prairie schooner, I restarted my peddling enterprise. Though not as fast as Phiro, his Philo Reals are quite fast, so they're starting to take over the Caterpillan's jobs. The problem is the fuel efficiency. All of the food in the village's storehouse has vanished. The new Philo Reals do nothing but eat. If I don't do something, death by starvation seems to be quite a possible future. As such, we decided to expand our bioplant cultivation. The plants have started to become like a forest encircling the village. The dunes are working very hard every day in order to maintain the soil for them. I have to reward them sometime soon. Nyakan. So Philo Reals really were scary animals. Keel. Keel runs at me with her tail wagging in dog form. Did they try to eat him? Ever since she learned how to transform, she seems to take that form whenever she gets excited. This loincloth dog. Besides tables and chairs, they eat everything with legs. Be careful. Neofumi. TL, wow, this joke actually works in both languages. Okay. Emaya-chan's also being targeted, so I have to protect her. Keel. Well, I already told Motoyasu to make sure they don't eat any villagers, so it'll probably be fine. Also, since Phiro is technically the future queen of the species, they follow her with absolute obedience. From the data I've collected in the past few days, it seems that all of the Philo Reals besides Motoyasu's initial 3 will obey her. I guess this is what you call a pecking order. TL, puns. Philo Real queens require expensive slave seals, but with Phiro's Ahog and Phiro's magic, it seems we will be able to manage. The restrictions I place on them work as normal. Of course, when I first met them, these birds had yet to fall under Phiro's dominion. It seems that after Phiro saved me, they battled it out for superiority. I think I remember the slaves watched their fights enthusiastically. But because of the shock, my memories of that time are kinda hazy. I wonder if Motoyasu is in today. Neofumi. He went off to train his newest Philo Reals. Before that, he saw Ishia wearing the Phiro plushie, and screamed, "You fake bastard," at her, so I sent him off to shut him up. For some reason, however, he was looking at the costume in envy. By the way, to this day I still have no idea exactly how many Philo Reals Motoyasu has. So I timidly peer into the stable from the window. Inside her, Phiro is fidgeting around as she sits next to Melty. Melty is looking at her while smiling. As I thought. She is a pervert comparable to Motoyasu. Now then. Let's start the conference on how to get Master to praise us. Philo Real. TL, this is not Phiro. Everyone besides Phiro pronounces Master wrong. What are they doing? The chairman will be our future queen Phiro-sama, and I will be managing. Philo Real. There is a loud cry from the audience. Or perhaps I should call it a whistle. The sound of soft things coming into contact with each other is also there. I believe they are trying to clap. They're good at imitating human language. Is it because they're birds? The Philo Real queen speaking. I think I've seen her before. Motoyasu's follower? No, I don't think so. Now then, let me give you the results of research I have carried out since my birth. To put it bluntly, Master does not hold a high opinion of monsters that communicate in human speech. Philo Real. The Philo Reals watching start talking amongst themselves. But Phiro-sama is able to get close to him in human form, isn't she? Philo Real. Try to remember, everyone. Is there not always a set distance between the two of them? Philo Real. You know, Phiro is liked by Master, Phiro. This is the opinion of Phiro-sama, but the truth has yet to be ascertained. Did she not get penalized after starting a commotion earlier? Philo Real. Melty cringes. I think she just remembered something she didn't want to. I want to forget it as well. I'm surprised she doesn't try to escape from this absurd situation. At this point, swaying Master's heart by normal actions may prove to be impossible. Philo Real. That's wrong, Phiro is Master's #1 vehicle. Phiro. Is that true? Do you not think you have been losing to Galeon as of late? Philo Real. Upon these words, Pharaoh begins pouting. It seems he struck a nerve. Whenever anything happens, she competes with the dragon. What are you looking at? Galen. Speak of the devil. Galen comes next to me, and peers into the window as well. Ah, the growing population of Philo Reals. If they do anything to my territory, I will eat every last one of them. Galen. What can you do when you were devoured yourself? Neofumi. But I don't really care about that. What exactly are they meeting for? Where is Motoyasu? Perhaps he isn't here today. His usual three and the freshly hatched chicks aren't there. Pi. Chick. A chick jumps onto my shoulder. The two left-out chicks stand on Galen's head and look inside as well. Didn't Philo Reals and dragons not get along? Now then, everyone. Let us practice speaking out of human tongue. Q. Philo Real. Q. Everyone. That's right. Around master, do not speak human tongue. Slowly build up fondness, and occasionally get close and offer your head to be pat. When he's in a good mood, he will play with you, so indulge in it to your heart's content. But if you are too persistent, he will hate it, so approach him in moderation. Philo Real. Yes. Everyone. The hell is this? I'm at a loss for words. It feels as if I just heard people I thought I got along with badmouthing me behind my back. And what the hell are they trying to get my affection? I know they can talk already, so acting dumb won't get them anywhere. Now then, next is practice on making oneself appear lovable. Philo Real. The chairman's eyes turn innocent and round as he tilts his head and looks at a point close to the ground. Is that where I'm supposed to be? Kuee. Philo Real. He blinks numerous times while his eyes shine and he approaches that point. It's as if I'm truly standing there. If I didn't know better, I think I would pat him. How sly. It's somehow pissing me off. Ah, I remember. That's Pharaoh's #1 follower. He has a bow tie on his chest, and his feathers are groomed as he gives the presentation. He's the Philo Real I've known for the longest besides Pharaoh. So he became a queen. I don't know the gender, so he might be a king. Even so, I found him more lovable than Pharaoh, but that was all an act. Like that, in order to get close to master, you need cuteness. Also, even if you can, you must refrain from using human speech. Does everyone understand? Philo Real. Yes. Everyone. With Motoyasu-san, he'll be happy no matter what you do, but in order to be liked by master, you must have diligence and patience. Philo Real. Yeah. Everyone. Now then, to practice. Philo Real. Q. Everyone. The Philo Reals in the stable begin practicing. It somehow feels like a cult to me. What was that Philo Real's name again? I often played with him in the mornings, but I don't know his name. I think the slaves named him. Compared to Pharaoh, he seems quite smart. Perhaps because his boss is an idiot, he learned from having a bad example close to him. Though I hate his slyness. Now that I think about it, Pharaoh is an airhead. Even if she can speak, she still has some genuine cuteness. But, now I think I'll put up a bit more distance. I know all of these birds can speak already. It's pointless to say Q. Just when you're in front of me. I guess they're still birds in the end. They're too shallow-minded. Even Galen, who is currently sitting on my head, has more cuteness. Koga alien mode has a sense of purity to him. Though if I get close to him, Pharaoh gets loud, so I refrain from doing so. Should I end his punishment and give him preferential treatment? I don't have anyone to sleep with. Me to drive away Atlas at the moment, so the timing is good. Ah, why is Melty in there anyways? Well, she's a person who's a little more than a friend with Pharaoh. Did she come to relieve stress? If I stay any longer they'll notice me, so I quickly retreat. By the way, I learned later that follower #1 became a queen because of Motoyasu's influence. Galen said it before, but it seems that if a hero raises a Philo Real, it transforms into royalty. I get the feeling Pharaoh said it too. That if I wished for it, he would become a queen. Motoyasu loves Firo, so he probably wishes for one of his fellow reals to turn out like her. He tried caring for her subordinate. And because of that, he became a queen without Firo's orders. It seemed that a few days later the slaves in Atlas participated in this meeting as well. Galeon told me that they were researching my preferred type. They plan to conquer me? Cut the crap. TL, again, as in Gelge. I immediately called these meetings to a close, but I get the ominous feeling that something's still going on in secret. Skipping to the result, it seems my Philo reals became more lovable, and sales increased. A number of nobles asked if we would sell them, but Motoyasu started complaining, so we ended up turning them down. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 218, Loyal Loincloth Dog. As a change of pace for the day, I felt like making a suitable dessert with the wheat flour, which may be different in reality, I received from the town. I'm making a dessert because I was able to have refined honey produced by a variation of the bioplant that I made by researching with rat. I also make samples for taste testing. Nii-chan. What are you making? Keel. Be quiet and watch. Ah, the fire. It's best to have it as weak as possible. Naofumi. I heated the iron plate and made the dough by mixing the wheat flour with monster milk. I also whip some milk and let the fat float to the top to make some cream. I put some honey in the cream to add sweetness. In addition, I also prepare some fruits. While I am cooking, the slaves, monsters, and Philo reals gather, enticed by the smell. Do I have enough? For the time being, I also have the rest of the cooking slaves make some more using the same materials. Anyway, don't you guys have things to be doing? Naofumi. It's natural, Nii-chan. Keel. Is cooking Naofumi's hobby? Ren asked, having finished his training with the female knight. If I'm not mistaken, aren't there language studies waiting for you next? I wanted to know how determined this guy was, so I gave him the order to study. For the time being, he obediently follows it. I thought he would be the type to dislike it being told to study by people, but he seems to be taking it seriously. I've made him a table of letters and he's transcribing it earnestly. If he had asked for a means to quickly become stronger instead of this kind of thing, or something, then I would know there was no remorse. It's not particularly a hobby. I just learned it before I noticed. Naofumi. So it's just like you got used to it. The smell is good too. Ren. That aside, would you like to learn? Naofumi. If Naofumi wishes it, Ren. Just kidding. If you would like to eat, then wait a bit. Naofumi. Ah, I'm looking forward to it because the meals Naofumi makes are delicious. Ren. Are you trying to get on my good side? Even though you're the type to just think about yourself. I'm still not used to it. Okay. Naofumi. I made the dough as thin as possible and cooked it on the round iron plate, immediately flipping it over to cook the other side. I move that base to a different table, spread some fruits and cover it in the cream, and then finally wrap it into a cup shape. It's finished. Naofumi. Ah, you were making a crepe after all. Ren. Well, I know how to make them because I used to part-time at the food corner. Naofumi. Part-time. What a nostalgic word. Ren didn't work part-time. Naofumi. I didn't. Even though I would have liked to. Ren is a high school student, and there are many students who are not allowed to have a part-time job due to their schools or parents. In fact, my younger brother goes to a school where part-time jobs are prohibited. Me? As a high school student, I had a part-time job because I wanted the money. You can guess what I used the money for. That being said, I pass sample number 1 to Ren. Did I reproduce it well? The one who could give the best appraisal is probably Ren. Mew. It's as delicious as I expected. The taste is a little different than I remember, but it's nothing to worry about. Ren. So. It was delicious after all. Keel asks with her eyes sparkling. Look, this is one of the foods from my world. It's called a crepe. Naofumi. I made a second one and pass it to Keel. Crepe. It's a food I've never heard of. Food from Nii-chan's world. Keel. Keel smells and looks at the crepe intensely. Right now, she is in her human form. But recently she's been a dog more. According to her, transforming consumes magic, but her senses are sharper and her body becomes lighter, so it's comfortable. With a chomp, Keel ate a mouthful from the crepe. It tastes like nothing I have eaten before. Keel. Keel wags her ears and tail many times while chewing. It's tasty. Keel. I see. Neofumi. At Keel's words, the slaves, monsters, and philo-reals express their desire to eat as well. And so I begin baking crepes one after another. Tasty. The crepe is delicious. Keel. Keel begins to run while saying that. Don't fall down, Neofumi. I think it happened around the same time I said it. Keel tripped. Hey. Haven't I seen that somewhere before? That scene. Neofumi. What a coincidence. Same here. Ren. Furthermore, the crepe falls to the ground magnificently and is scattered everywhere. I think it was an ice cream that time. Neofumi. For me it was shaved ice. It was a while ago, but I've seen this before. Ren. An event that happens in Japan also exists in the strange world of the Vermo, it seems. TN, short. For virtual reality massively multiplayer online. Keel. You're a person who cannot escape from it. Wah. The crepe that Nii-chan made is Keel. Keel cries while staring at the scattered crepe with teary eyes. If you're that disappointed, then I'll immediately. Do we have the ingredients? After I have finished handing them out to the whole village, it's doubtful that there will be enough. Keel. Keel stares at the crepe strewn on the ground very regrettably. The other demi-human slaves extend their hands to help her stand, but she doesn't notice it. Eventually. Chomp. She ate it? I don't know what she was thinking. Keel transformed into a dog and started eating the splattered crepe on the ground. Keel-kun. What are you doing? Slave. You're going to get a stomachache. Slave. Let me go. It's something Nii-chan made with great care. I'm not going to let it go to waste. Keel. That's no good. Didn't Nii-chan say not to eat stuff that has fallen on the ground? Slave. Even so, I'm going to eat it. Out of my way. I can't reach the crepe. Keel. This Keel, even while being restrained, her eyes dart wildly around, and one of her hands stretches out to the splattered crepe. Ah. Did I put in something addicting? I need to report the failure of this honey to Rat. Settle down. Hey, I'll give you my share. Ren. You will. Keel. Yes. Ren. The situation was barely contained by Ren shouting about giving Keel his crepe. Ren must find it hard to understand why Keel is so upset, but he's considerably adapted to the village. Well, you'll get used to the village after you have lived here for a while. Not long after that, Ren returns with a slightly troubled expression. To be this emotional, Ren. No. The honey might have some narcotic components in it. Neofumi. I think it's different. So please don't stop what you're doing. Everyone is looking with expectant eyes, so please continue making them. Ren. Ren might be feeling pressured by the slaves. I suspect there might be narcotics, but it's not confirmed, so it's fine. During our talk, Motoyasu comes over while being surrounded by philo-reals. Father-in-law. You are doing something that's making me envious. Motoyasu. Motoyasu says after seeing the philo-reals receiving the crepes and eating them with great pleasure. That's the first thing you say? I always thought Motoyasu's remarks were annoying since the time he was being accompanied by which? You're calling me father-in-law as usual, and yet what is it that you envy? Say something more appropriate. I wanted to preach. Well, even though dealing with Motoyasu is troublesome, I know how to handle him well. Father-in-law. Ren. Renz asks in a shaky voice while pointing at Motoyasu. We didn't have the chance to speak, but what on earth happened? Ren. Ah. I forgot to explain. Ren, Motoyasu was betrayed by witch and has now been broken. Naofumi. Is that so? Ren. Father-in-law, it's impolite to say, broken. I was only just awakened by true love. Ren-kun must not make the same mistake either. Motoyasu. Ren-kun. Ren. Ren, who is trembling with goosebumps, seeks help from me. What a relief. Looks like it's not only me who is being called with a strange name. Because it can't get more sickening than Motoyasu attaching kun to Ren's name. What's this about, true love? Ren. Ah. To make it easy for you to understand, just like witch whispered to you when you were down. And our foolish bird gave him words of encouragement afterwards. Rather than an owner. I, who is the foster parent, is considered to be the father-in-law. Naofumi. Hae. I'm not sure I understand it well, but he seems happy. Ren. Ren analyzes Motoyasu, who was laughing merrily while touching the filo reals. And? Motoyasu, are you doing anything? If you don't have any errands, then play with the filo reals. Naofumi. He was so devoted to bringing up filo reals, I hadn't given him any particular instructions. If you raise that large quantity of filo real queens, they could probably play an active part against the waves. Okay. I would also like to know if I could buy new filo reals. Motoyasu. You still want more? That's enough. Young filo real. At my anger, a young filo real appears from somewhere and berates Motoyasu. This filo real. It's the one Phiro borrowed from Motoyasu and entrusted to me. He disappeared. Before I realized, and reappears whenever I'm angry or troubled. Though his level is raised, there are no changes to his appearance. He has a lovely charm because of his really small appetite. Tien. Not sure if this is a male or female filo real. What is the reason for this? I mean, was this the filo real counterpart of the dragon's core? This filo real would appear whenever I invite Child Galian to sleep in the same bed, and they would proceed to intimidate each other. Well, they usually would get along well though. On the surface they are on good terms, but they have a cold relationship of checking and restraining each other. I see. I will endure it then. Motoyasu. Motoyasu backs down meekly. Or rather, I want you to stop calling me your father-in-law. However, it doesn't seem like he would concede over this, and there's no sign of him quitting. And? Isn't it almost time to continue your studies, Ren? Naofumi. Ah. That's right. Ren. Father-in-law. Motoyasu. What is it? Naofumi. I would also like to learn. Motoyasu. Ah, yes. Then go ahead and study together with Ren and the slaves. When night comes, I will do a review. Naofumi. He can also observe whether Ren is working seriously. I will not forget. The thing at Kalmyra Island. I remember how fervently these guys agreed with Itsuki when he mentioned where they learned the different world language comprehension skill. You'll have to show your sincerity. Let us go then. By the way, can't something be done about how this pig smell? My nose is about to fall off. Motoyasu. I won't deny that there are many women, but it's impossible. Your personal odor. I'll consider it. When you cure your bird odor. Naofumi. Father-in-law, isn't this a matured fragrance that is both noble and mellow? Motoyasu. How annoying. Keep your opinions to yourself. If you don't like it, then leave. Naofumi. This guy, he can immediately tell that Keel is a girl. I wonder why that is. Keel is certainly a female, but she looks like a Bishonen. Tien, beautiful boy. Speaking of androgynous faces, Ren would be the king. T/N, Ren has a super androgynous face. No doubt, Motoyasu being able to talk to Ren is because he can tell. Alright then, I will brace my nose and endure it. Motoyasu. Hurry up and leave. Naofumi. I finish distributing the crepes and resume studying for the day. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 219, Peerless Activity. Now then, Naofumi. Recently I've been practicing adding magic to my skills. I think it will be good if I can use it as easily as breathing. My weakness is that the magic consumption is huge, so it's hard to regulate. Even just air strike shield, sending 2 is the limit of my magic consumption. Also, as far as I know, what changes depending on the skill is that the cooldown increases proportionately. And it seems that if I add magic to the portal shield, the number of people I can transport increase. With the 6-person limit according to Motoyasu, I was able to transport 7 people because I unintentionally added magic. That was probably it. I can't control the part that I'm aware of though. I can't do it no matter what, One way or another, the magic consumption is extreme. The natural recovery I have is troublesome. Using mana potions are a waste, so I have to save them. I use magic also when compounding. But it's good if I can use magic when making good things. And as the old man said, it seems that listening to the ingredients is important too. When I think about it, there's no end. Lately I've also been doing self-study when Rato isn't teaching me alchemy. A part of my shield has an elementary alchemy skill, so I started to learn. Letting the shield make it is fine, but I know it'll turn out better if I can make it myself. Naofumi-sama. Atla. What is it? Naofumi. I feel like your accuracy has improved, but there are still tears. Atla. Atla thrust at the weak points of the air strike shield I fired. For now, it seems that its strength has improved, but it often breaks while being prodded. There, right. Naofumi. I can't help feeling like it's still incomplete somehow. I think something more basic is insufficient. However, it reached a stage where the female knight's attacks became ineffective. I proposed a contest with the female knight who had been training. The female knight mastered the peerless transformation sword style. Apparently because she could beat Ren, he happily became an opponent every day as well. As expected, it seems that Ren's skills are better normally than when he's been corroded by the Curse series. Since long ago, the frequency of being hit by the female knight's attacks was high. Well, I specialize in enduring. Even when I'm engulfed by anger, receiving the opponent's attacks is insignificant. I think if I face being hit like this, then it'll probably collapse. It's fine if that's the case. I want to test how well the prison will work in actual combat on the female knight. A fight with Iwata Nidano, then I'll be going at it seriously. Female knight. To overtake me and bypass my defense, I won't let you pass that point. Naofumi. Well then, it's fine to see if you can take this. Multilayer crumble attack. Female knight. The female knight's special skill that bypassed defense faced me. The first strike warded off the shield, and the second strike changed direction to my forearm. The third strike repeatedly intersected, mixing together at high frequencies, and when I was about to receive it, I followed the flow of her body and struck. Shield prison. Naofumi. Without overlooking my chance, I materialized the prison to trap the female knight as she focused her consciousness on her attack. But, female knight. The imprisoned female knight attacked with a bang. However, the cage gave no sign of breaking. I think the sound reverberated for around 3 minutes, but before long, it became silent. And then, 5 minutes later. What's with my efforts? The style I finally learned was also destroyed, female knight. She muttered complaints. What are you so down about? Naofumi. When I called out to her, she suddenly came to her senses and glared at me with determined eyes. PFT. You may have beat me this time, but I won't let you next time, so prepare yourself. I've received full mastery, but I've only used the basics. Female knight. Is that so? Naofumi. It seems the female knight doesn't have the ability to strike the weak points like Alta can. So next is Rishia. Rishia. Naofumi. What is it? Rishia. I call Rishia, who been making progress with her mood change lately, to test it out. T/N, so no more. Phew. This guy, she's leveled up and has gotten considerably strong. I'm going to trap you in the shield prison for a bit, so can you try to break out? Naofumi. Right, I understand. Rishia. Rishia takes out and readies her sword, and I imprison her like the female knight. Ei. Rishia. It took her around 3 hits. Hers was a relatively quick destruction. As expected, Rishia is stronger than the female knight. Was it only the status difference? I don't understand the disparity of the peerless transformation style. Speaking of which, what kind of school is the peerless transformation style? I can't tell from just the legends, so please teach me. Naofumi. Ah, yes. Is what I heard from Master okay? Rishia. Yeah, I just heard from the old hag about how it's a famous school that rivals the heroes, so it's fine. Naofumi _. I heard that there was a legend that matched the 4 saint heroes and the 7-star heroes, but I don't know the actual circumstances, so I'd like to hear. Let's see, in Master's story, it seems the origin was an adventurer wanted to overcome danger without relying on the heroes, so he founded the school. Rishia. Without relying on the heroes, I see. Well, in this world, whenever something happens, then they summon heroes or rely on the 7-star heroes, or at least that's the image I get. So it's a school made from searching for a method to become stronger without relying on those heroes. Thinking about it normally, to leave the world to the 4 saint heroes and the 7-star heroes, only 11 people, is an act of sheer madness. Despite the difference between being able and being unable to do something, having people who will think of a solution by themselves is more natural. In addition, to leave your own fate in outsiders summoned from a different world or something. No, they probably had no choice but to leave it to them ability-wise, but there were people who couldn't consent because of that. To be able to handle the elements is the foundation, skills come after that. Rishia. I see, Naofumi. I was able to handle the elements, and so I ended my absence of leave. The other techniques was one part, but they were the application of the original school. Female knight. Didn't Master also praise you for achieving mastery? Rishia. Yes, but teacher has yet to teach me about the inner workings. Isn't Raphtalia working on those hidden purposes now? Rishia. I also saw her teaching you things that I don't know. Female knight. That's right, isn't it? Rishia. Isn't it obvious that the continuation time of peerless activity differs too much? Female knight. Peerless activity. Naofumi. Ah, I only use it during the instant when attacking Iwatanidano or avoiding. So to speak, it's similar to handling protection magic. Rishia excels at maintaining that activity for a long time. If I try to imitate her, I can probably only hold it for a minute. Female knight. Naofumi. A technique that the female knight can only use for an instant. Rishia can invoke that for a long time. It's that. The so-called overdrive skill or attack in games. Giving a massive power-up for a certain time, but its consumption is extreme or something, so Rishia has that kind of attack. Or rather, was Rishia able to maintain it for a long time because her disposition was good? The female knight who used it economically and the Rishia who could use it for a long duration. It seems the female knight had a weaker effect as well. Actually, I already succeeded in making the female knight's special attack become powerless and unable to break open the prison. That Ren will probably be surprised if he knew that I neutralized the female knight who was stronger than him. I'm not going to tell him though. Either way, the female knight can use it, so I can probably use it as well. Hypothetically, even if I can't use it, I should be able to apply it as long as I understand the principle. The problem is that I didn't realize that that technique was being used until now. I thought it was natural to have the magic swell up only during the instant of attack. Actually, in all the battles I've seen, the attackers use magic instantaneously. In that case, was magic a separate component to that? Lately, there are times where I feel a discrepancy when I talk to Rishia or the female knight, and Atla. It's when they start talking about the elements. I don't really understand, but I'll observe these 3 more attentively. I always worry about if my strength has reached its peak. But I can't lose to this level. Rishia. Practice with me. Female knight. Oh okay. Rishia. And so, the female knight started training with Rishia. Atla, did you understand what she meant? Naofumi. if I'm not mistaken, eclair builds up essence inside during the instant she attacks or avoids. I think she was talking about that. Shall I imitate it? Atla. Please. Naofumi. Then I'll be starting. Atla. After Atla built up her strength, she jumped towards me. Fast. Her speed is several times more than her usual speed. This is. I'm sure the body and spirit doesn't possess this. Atla. And then she faced me and fired a hit. Goo. I didn't dodge Atla's attack that disregarded defense and was injured. There was a slight struggle in my body. I see, this is really brutal indeed. Or rather, Atla really is a genius to be able to copy this simply from watching. Already, she can't be stopped by the female knight. And so we trained with this kind of feeling. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero chapter 220, Trap. TL, the one that warrants how when Kyuma going, Daga Otoko, in the background. Not the Admiral. Akbar type. Eventually night falls, and I invite Ren and Motoyasu to my house. I want to see how earnestly they've been studying. I used this country's language to make up a test. Though I don't know why the study hating me is acting like a teacher. Well, the past few days have been pretty much like this. Though Motoyasu starts today. Motoyasu, if you're here to play with Philo Reals, then leave. Naofumi. Motoyasu pats his Philo Real followers as he looks over the questions. You can't. If I don't have them, how do you expect me to study in this room that stinks of pigs? Motoyasu. Asterisk sigh, Naofumi. According to Motoyasu, my entire village stinks of pigs, and he can't stand being in it. The only way he can handle it is if he's surrounded by Philo Reals. I ignore Motoyasu and go check over Ren's work. There are a few grammatical errors, but it seems you've gotten a grasp of the language. Naofumi. That's because Naofumi diligently teaches me every night. Ren. He learning quite fast, while I took quite a while. Of course, learning from a chart is much easier than learning from scratch. It was really difficult for me, who only ever managed to get average scores in English. Learning a new language will always be quite tough. Though it was an essential for my life, so I have been able to become quite fluent in it. So, Motoyasu, how are you doing? Naofumi. I look at Motoyasu's paper. His scores are higher than anticipated. They're just elementary problems, but he has around 80% correct. He was quite a realier, TL, Ryajo, in his own world. He may be smarter than me. I don't know why such a man got hooked on net games, but it seems that it is no longer possible to get such information from the individual, and I don't really want to. All is for Firotan. I am working hard. Motoyasu. I see. Naofumi. So he's learning fast because they're the letters of Firo's world. I guess this is what they call the determination of an idiot. It seems that he's highly motivated. Do you understand why I'm having you learn the letters of this world? Naofumi. To help in your peddling. Ren. After thinking for a while, Ren answers. If he had said, in order to learn magic, then I would have stopped his lessons. I guess he gets passing marks. It may be an essential skill to learn magic, but if he answered as such, that would mean that he was still lusting for power as he had been before. That's also a reason. Though I'm not sure if you are saying your true opinion. Naofumi. He seems to have some desire to save the world. I'll leave it at that. I understand that I'm acting stuck up. But originally, this is a skill he should have picked up on his own. He should be grateful that I'm even teaching him. Well, Ren's been busy with his sword training recently, so should we end studies here? Naofumi. About that, Ren. Naofumi. Ren doesn't make eye contact. He stumbles over his words. Could I, like Naofumi, be given a job? Ren. He seems to be trying hard as not to be put under suspicion. He looks straight at me and stops talking. It seems he is motivated at least. Though I don't know his prowess. A job? Do you mean like my compounding? Naofumi. Since I've come to this village, I've heard that Naofumi's been doing a lot. Cooking, and compounding, making accessories, and even dabbling in alchemy. That's why I want to learn to do something. Ren. My dream is to become a philo real herder. Motoyasu. Motoyasu, be quiet for a second. Ren. I see. So Ren has gotten an interest in manufacturing. Ah, is that why he's been so earnest in learning the sword? As he's a hero, if he unlocks the required weapons, then he should be able to gain manufacturing skills like mine. If he really wants to, I don't see why I shouldn't. I see your enthusiasm. So you want to become a person who makes things. Naofumi. Because of the curse of greed, Ren can't touch money, and his monster drops are all bad. I think it will take a month to recover. Though when coupled with gluttony, I don't know. It's only been a week and a half since he's gotten here, so it'll be a while. That's true, but when I see this village's children, I get the feeling that I can't continue doing nothing. Ren. Fumu, Naofumi. I see where he's coming from. A majority of the villagers are good with their hands. They make goods to be peddled. So he got such an impression. When your curse lessens, I'll leave it to you. Naofumi. Got it. Ren. Doesn't the onsen at Kalmyra have curse-reducing effects? Though you can't do anything else while recuperating. I remember my curse, which was supposed to take a month, being dispelled faster while I was there. Though I used Bluetopfer again shortly afterwards, so my stats fell again. Since we have a teleportation skill, I should probably look into it. Should I go check it out tonight? Even though it's for treatment purposes, it sounds a little fun. Can the other heroes warp there? Though the island isn't really far or anything. Hey, can either of you warp to Kalmyra Island? Naofumi. Ah, it's a place I haven't set. The island activation prevented teleportation skills. Ren. How about now? Naofumi. It's the off-season. We won't know unless we try. Ren. Then it might not be so bad to visit for the onsens. I'll send the nuisance Motoyasu away to check it out, and wait for his return. I can leave it to Ren as well. I wonder if heroes are able to teleport each other. The next thing I need to ask is whether or not heroes can teleport each other if they're in the same party. Naofumi. That is. I never tried so I don't know. Ren. I guess I'll have to experiment. I'll try teleporting somewhere with Motoyasu later. Emo-kun, are you still studying? Philo Real. I am, Marin-chan. I need to work hard to get father-in-law to approve of my marriage. Motoyasu. Muyu. Philo Reals. Upon hearing that, Red and Green punch him simultaneously. By the way, I wouldn't let them in my house unless they took on human form. They made the same promise as Phiro. If they break it, I have punishment in store. Marin-chan. Ren. Don't get involved, Ren. Naofumi. Well, I'm not really sure, but having a conversation partner is important, right? That's what I've been thinking recently. Ren. So he's speaking from experience. It's not like he's wrong, but he should consider who he's speaking to. Motoyasu's a landmine. You should steer clear of him. I'm glad you asked. Motoyasu. Motoyasu's eyes sparkles as he loudly proclaims this. Ah, you stirred up the hornet's nest. Motoyasu joyfully proceeds into a speech I have no interest in. First, this red child's name is Kuhu-chan. The origin of this is crimson. Next, the blue one's name is Marin-chan. Her name comes from aquamarine. Finally, we have Midori. Her name is just as it sounds. Motoyasu. TL, crimson equals Kuraimusen, Soku. Aquamarine equals Aquamarin. Green equals Midori. Nice to meet you. Philo Reals. The three quickly lower their heads. But their eyes are different when they look at me than when they look at Ren. These birds. Including which, Motoyasu always had 3 women tagging along with him. Even when he became a pervert, he still continued to be surrounded by women. But it seems that this time they actually like him. Is that so? Ren. Motoyasu-san, is this how it's done? Midori. Midori picks up Motoyasu's question sheet, and starts doodling all over it. Now that I take a closer look, she got all the answers correct. Was she cheating? No, I was watching over Motoyasu when he filled it out, so that shouldn't be the case. Midori, you're smart. Motoyasu. Mew. Marin and Ku. Red and Blue let out discontent voices. They each seem to have different personalities, but I don't care. Ihihi, Midori. The emerald-colored one seems to be the smart one of the group. Alright. That one doesn't fight in monster form, right? No Fumi. Yeah, she says that angel form is easier. Motoyasu. I see, Neo Fumi. I see the other two's monster forms all the time, but I've never seen the emerald one. Does a ranking system exist among these three? The red one seems a little cold. Is it my imagination? I do hate red. I can't help but associate it with that woman. I get the feeling that red things are strong-willed. It's because my legs aren't as powerful as Kuhu or Marin. Midori, TL, uses Boku. I see, Neo Fumi. So she's of a Philo Real race that isn't good at kicks. Yet in human form, she wields a heavy-looking battle axe. I might look into this. It seems that there are many types of Philo Real. Instead, Midori is good at identifying poisons, medicines and other things. Motoyasu. I see. Neo Fumi. Master has mean eyes, and is worse at interaction than Motoyasu-san. But don't worry, I won't hold it against you. Midori. What was that? Neo Fumi. Fyro has been wishing to spit poison for a long time. This one is toxic in another way. But I won't say that. It's something a child said. Don't mind it, father-in-law. Motoyasu. I mind it. Send her out. A mouth like that will bring disaster. Neo Fumi. I see. I'm sorry, Midori, please go home. Motoyasu. Why you can't? Motoyasu-san. Let me back in. As I thought, I'm Midori. Motoyasu swiftly transports the emerald one outside of the room. Amazing. Are my orders truly absolute? It's not like I'll order to him to kill or anything. But it's good that he knows who's boss. There's something off. Ren. Ren looks over that exchange with a strange look on his face. He seems to have caught on to something. Midori is the only male among the first angels that hatched. Could that be it? Motoyasu.